Welcome back to Today we will learn about the explosive custody battle brewing in Salem as Tate Black prepares to fight for his son after discovering the most devastating betrayal imaginable. The shocking truth that will change everything. The peaceful facade that Sophia Choi has desperately maintained is about to shatter into a million pieces. And when it does, the repercussions will send shockwaves through every corner of Salem. What started as a teenage pregnancy has evolved into an intricate web of deception so complex that even seasoned soap opera veterans will be left stunned by its audacity. Tate Black, played masterfully by Leo Howard, stands on the precipice of a life-altering discovery that will transform him from a heartbroken father mourning the loss of access to his daughter into a furious warrior prepared to wage war for his son's future. The elaborate charade orchestrated by Sophia and District Attorney Melinda Trask has reached unprecedented levels of manipulation, involving forged documents, fake pregnancy bellies, and a completely fabricated adoption scenario that would make even the most creative con artists jealous. This isn't simply a case of a young woman making poor choices under pressure. This is a calculated campaign of emotional terrorism designed to completely erase Tate from his child's life while simultaneously destroying any chance he might have had to be the father he desperately wants to become. Melinda Trask's dangerous game of legal manipulation. Behind every great deception lies a mastermind. And in this case, Melinda Trask has positioned herself as the puppet master pulling every string with surgical precision. Her involvement in this scheme goes far beyond simple legal advice. She has actively participated in creating fraudulent adoption papers, establishing fake communication channels with non-existent adoptive parents, and even providing Sophia with convincing props to maintain the illusion of her pregnancy timeline. The depth of her complicity raises serious questions about her motivations and whether her own troubled past with teenage pregnancy has clouded her professional judgment beyond repair. The Chicago postbox operation that Melinda established represents just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the legal implications facing both women. Every forged document, every fabricated email, and every lie told to Tate creates a paper trail that could ultimately lead to criminal charges that would destroy both of their futures. The irony is palpable. In trying to protect Sophia from the consequences of teenage motherhood, Melinda has instead created a situation where the young woman could face far more serious legal repercussions than anything she would have encountered by simply telling the truth from the beginning. Tate's emotional journey from heartbreak to rage, the transformation that Tate is about to undergo, represents one of the most compelling character developments in recent days of our lives' history. Currently believing that his daughter was whisked away by adoptive parents in Chicago immediately after birth, Tate has been wrestling with a complex mixture of grief, frustration, and helplessness that has left him emotionally devastated. His recent outburst during the August 15th episode provided just a glimpse of the volcanic emotions simmering beneath his composed exterior, emotions that will explode with nuclear force once he discovers the truth about Tesoro. The cruel irony of Tate's situation cannot be overstated. While he has been desperately trying to arrange even a single visit with what he believes is his daughter through the fake Chicago adoption agency, his actual son has been living right under his nose in Salem, being cared for by Javi Hernandez and Leo Stark. The brief interaction Tate had with baby Tesoro at the Brady pub, during which the infant immediately stopped crying and smiled in his arms, takes on an entirely new significance when viewed through the lens of biological connection. That moment of inexplicable bonding between father and son will likely haunt Tate once he realizes how close he came to the truth. The unraveling of Sophia's carefully constructed lies. Sophia's decision to tell Tate that she gave birth to a girl instead of a boy was perhaps the most crucial element of her deception, as it created an additional layer of misdirection that made discovery seem nearly impossible. However, this lie is also becoming her greatest vulnerability, as medical records and witness accounts begin to paint a picture that doesn't align with her fabricated story. Dr. Sarah Horton's discovery of the truth through medical documentation represents the first crack in what Sophia believed was an impenetrable wall of deception. The physical and emotional toll of maintaining such an elaborate lie is beginning to show in Sophia's deteriorating condition. Her frequent complaints of pain and exhaustion aren't simply the result of recent childbirth. They're the manifestation of the crushing psychological pressure of knowing that her entire future depends on successfully maintaining a deception that grows more complex with each passing day. The stress is literally eating her alive from the inside, and her body is rebelling against the constant state of high alert required to keep her story straight. The legal battlefield that awaits when the truth finally emerges. The legal ramifications will extend far beyond a simple custody dispute. Tate's discovery that he has been systematically denied access to his son through fraudulent means will likely trigger a cascade of legal actions that could reshape multiple lives permanently. His initial reaction will likely be to seek not just custody, but full custody, arguing that Sophia's willingness to engage in such extensive deception demonstrates her unfitness as a parent and her complete disregard for his parental rights. The courtroom drama that awaits promises to be among the most emotionally charged storylines in Days of Our Lives history, with potential charges ranging from fraud and perjury to parental alienation and conspiracy. Melinda's involvement as both a co-conspirator and a member of the legal system adds another layer of complexity that could result in her facing disbarment proceedings alongside criminal charges. The professional and personal destruction facing both women serves as a stark reminder that actions have consequences, especially when those actions involve depriving a father of his fundamental right to know and raise his child. Tesoro's future hangs in the balance. At the center of this brewing storm sits an innocent child whose entire future will be determined by the legal and emotional battles about to engulf his young life. Tesoro, currently thriving in the loving care of his foster parents Javi and Leo, has no idea that his peaceful existence is about to be shattered by revelations that will turn his world upside down. The bond he has already formed with his foster fathers, particularly Leo, adds another heartbreaking dimension to the situation, as any custody change will inevitably result in additional trauma for the child. The question of what's truly in Tesoro's best interests becomes increasingly complex as the layers of deception are peeled away. While Tate's anger towards Sophia is completely justified, his emotional state and desire for revenge could potentially cloud his judgment when it comes to making decisions about his son's welfare. The court will ultimately need to determine whether a father seeking custody primarily out of anger and a desire to punish the mother can provide the stable, loving environment that Tesoro deserves. The upcoming episodes promise to deliver the kind of emotional intensity and legal drama that has made Days of Our Lives a beloved fixture in daytime television for decades. As Tate prepares to fight for his son and Sophia's world crumbles around her, viewers can expect courtroom confrontations, emotional revelations, and life-changing decisions that will resonate throughout Salem for years to come. The battle for Tesoro's future is just beginning, and the casualties of this war may extend far beyond anyone's imagination. Today, let's dive deep into one of the most intriguing mysteries unfolding right now, the shooting of E.J. DiMera. We'll explore a wild but fascinating theory that might just blow your mind. I'll explain everything step by step, in a straightforward way so it's easy to follow along. Grab a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's unravel this together. It all started with the episode that aired on August 14, 2025. E.J. DiMera, played by the charismatic Dan Feuerriegel, is lying in his hospital bed, recovering from a gunshot wound that nearly ended his life. He's a tough character, that E.J., always scheming and plotting as part of the infamous DiMera family. But now he's obsessed with finding out who pulled the trigger. In a tense conversation with Marlena Evans, the wise and compassionate psychiatrist portrayed by the legendary Deidre Hall, E.J. accuses her of hiding the identity of the shooter. He calls this mysterious person she. Convinced it's a woman close to him, E.J. starts throwing out names, each one more dramatic than the last. First, he suspects Sammy Braydy, his ex-wife and the mother of his children. Sammy, played by Allison Sweeney, has a fiery temper and a history of explosive actions when she's hurt or angry. Could she have snapped and tried to take E.J. out? It's possible. After all, their relationship has been a roller coaster of passion and pain for years. Then E.J. wonders if it could be his sister-in-law, Belle Black, brought to life by Martha Madison. Belle is usually level-headed, a lawyer who fights for justice, but she's been through her own share of heartaches. Maybe the stress of family dramas pushed her over the edge? E.J. isn't sure, but he's not ruling her out. Enter Kristen DiMera, E.J.'s scheming sister, played with wicked flair by Stacey Hayduk. Kristen jumps in with her own suggestions, adding her name to the list, though that's probably just her way of stirring the pot as she loves chaos. And then there's Gabby Hernandez, portrayed by Camila Banus, another strong-willed woman who's clashed with EJ in business and personal battles. Gabby has a motive to revenge for past wrongs in the cutthroat world of DiMera Enterprises. But here's where things get really interesting, folks. What if EJ and Kristen are barking up the wrong tree entirely? What if the person Marlena is desperately protecting isn't Sammy, Belle, Kristen, or Gabby at all? What if, and stay with me here, the shooter is none other than Marlena herself? Yes, you heard that right. The kind-hearted doctor, the pillar of strength for so many in Salem, might be the one who fired that fateful shot. It sounds unbelievable at first, doesn't it? Marlena has always been the voice of reason, helping others through their darkest times. But let's think this through carefully using a simple principle called Occam's razor. That's just a fancy way of saying the simplest explanation is often the right one. And in this case, the simplest answer might be staring us right in the face. To understand why Marlena could be involved, we have to look at what she's been going through lately. Life hasn't been easy for her. Her beloved husband, John Black, played by the dashing Drake Hodgson, passed away not long ago, leaving a huge hole in her heart. John was her rock, her true love through thick and thin. They've shared adventures, faced villains together, and built a beautiful family. Losing him has shattered Marlena. She's been plagued by terrible nightmares, reliving some of the most traumatic moments from her past. One of those haunting memories takes her back to the days when she was under the spell of Stefano DiMera, the ultimate villain of Salem, masterfully portrayed by the late Joseph Mascalo. Stefano, known as the Phoenix for his ability to rise from the ashes time and again, once brainwashed Marlena into becoming his queen of the night. In those dark times, they wandered the romantic streets of Paris, surrounded by mysterious figures in revealing outfits, scantily clad extras that added to the eerie, otherworldly atmosphere. It was a period of possession and manipulation that Marlena has fought hard to forget. But with John's death stirring up old wounds, those nightmares are coming back stronger than ever, making her question her own mind and sanity. Adding to the mystery, Susan Banks, also played by Stacey Hayduk, who does double duty as both Susan and Kristen, has been sensing something supernatural in the DiMera mansion. Susan, with her quirky psychic abilities and southern charm, swears she feels Stefano's spirit lingering in the halls. Is he really gone? Or is there more to his death than meets the eye? Even EJ, Stefano's son whom he nicknamed Elvis after the king of rock and roll, sometimes wonders if his father could still be pulling strings from beyond the grave. The DiMeras have a history of faking deaths and returning dramatically, so it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Now, you might be asking, what does all this have to do with EJ's shooting? Let's connect the dots in a way that builds the suspense. Imagine this scenario, painted with the dramatic flair that Days of Our Lives is famous for. What if, before Stefano truly died, he planted a hidden memory deep in Marlena's subconscious, like a secret agent waiting for the right moment to activate? This isn't science fiction. The show has used mind control and hypnosis plots before. Stefano was a master at such tricks, using them to control his enemies and loved ones alike. In this theory, the implanted memory could have triggered Marlena to shoot EJ, but not with the intent to kill him outright. Stefano adored EJ, seeing him as a prized son and heir to the DiMera empire. He wouldn't want to lose Elvis permanently, perhaps just wound him enough to set a larger plan in motion. Think of EJ as a pawn in a grand chess game, a means to an end. And what is that end? The same obsession that drove Stefano in life, to possess Marlena completely, body and soul. But Stefano is dead, right? So how does this work from the grave? Here's where the story takes a supernatural turn, venturing into the realms of the afterlife that the show has explored before with ghosts, possessions, and heavenly interventions. Picture Stefano in the next realm. Not in a peaceful paradise, but in a fiery, tormented place we might call hell. He's surrounded by old allies and enemies, but he's restless, bored with eternity, without the one woman who truly captivated him, Marlena. Marlena, on the other hand, is the epitome of goodness. She's helped countless people as a psychiatrist, raised a loving family, and stood against evil time and again. When her time comes, and we hope that's far in the future, she's destined for heaven, where she can reunite with John. John, being a hero himself, a former spy and devoted family man, is surely up there now, waiting for her with open arms. Their love story is one for the ages, full of romance and resilience. Stefano can't stand the thought of that. In his twisted mind, if he can't have Marlena in life, he'll claim her in death. But to do that, he needs to ensure she doesn't go to heaven. He wants her soul tainted, dragged down to his level in hell, where they can be together forever in eternal turmoil. Making her commit a grave sin like shooting EJ, attempted murder no less, would be the perfect start. It's a chilling plan, isn't it? Stefano's spirit, whispering through those nightmares and implanted memories, pushing Marlena to act against her nature. Imagine the drama unfolding. Marlena, in a fog of grief and confusion, grabs a gun in the dead of night. Her hands tremble as she approaches EJ, the man who reminds her so much of Stefano's dark legacy. The shot rings out, echoing through Salem like thunder. But deep down, her good heart fights back. She doesn't aim to kill, just to wound. Afterward, the guilt consumes her. But she can't confess because it would destroy her family and her reputation. Instead, she protects the secret, even from herself, as the memories fade like a bad dream. This theory adds layers of tragedy and intrigue to the storyline. It explains Marlena's protective stance. She's not shielding someone else. She's shielding her own fractured psyche. And it ties back to the show's rich history, reminding us of Stefano's undying obsession. Will EJ uncover the truth? Will Marlena confront her demons? Literally? Only time will tell, as Days of Our Lives continues to deliver the heart-pounding episodes we love. In the meantime, this speculation gives us plenty to ponder. It's a reminder that in Salem, no one is ever truly safe from the past, and even the purest souls can be tempted by shadows from beyond. What do you think, dear readers? Could Marlena really be the shooter, manipulated by Stefano's ghostly influence? Share your thoughts with friends or in online forums. After all, discussing these plots is half the fun of watching soaps. As we wait for the next episode, let's appreciate the talented actors who bring these characters to life. Deidre Hall's portrayal of Marlena's vulnerability is heartbreakingly real, making us root for her even in the darkest moments. And who knows, maybe this theory is spot on, or perhaps there's an even bigger twist coming. That's the magic of Days of Our Lives. It keeps us guessing, episode after episode.